everybody. Apologize for being late. My wife just died. All right, we've got a lot on the agenda today, so let's begin. Yes, Matthew?
Hey, I'm so sorry. I mean, your wife.
Yeah, well, as you might expect, the pain's unlike anything I've ever experienced before, but we've got a lot to do today. I think next question, Jim?
Can I ask what happened?
Jim, what happened was she died. It was a car accident. We can't just bring the entire nation to a halt because of it.
Can't we, though? I'm just joking. Don't answer that.
Our
producer, he's like, what the hell is this?
I just want to say, when I saw this clip, I was like, yeah, I know we could be cold and stern and not have any depth of feeling or emotion, but like this was just way out of hand. It's like there's no humanity. Now, granted, I know it's not a real video, but this stands true testament that just how men are usually conditioned to be and feel. Like, we don't know how to really process our emotions. There's no level of emotional intelligence. And I feel like for you to get up and just be like, yeah, I'm gonna go to work. Yeah, my wife just died, but like, you don't have no shred of humanity. You don't have no ounce of feeling. Like, you don't want to grieve. Like, I understand stuff has to get done. Don't get me wrong. It has to get done. But I feel like not as a man, but just as a human being, allow yourself to process that grief. Now, for you could be different from wise guy. Not everything has to be textbook crying tears down your face. Everyone has a different way that they grieve. But that was my thought on it. Come on, wise guy. I know he's giving me some backlash. He was giving me.
Oh, no, I wasn't getting no backlash.
Yeah, he was like, dog, and I'm gonna see you in the chat and all of that. Yeah.
I say a lot of things. I forget a lot of them.
Go ahead.
But all I really was thinking was just that because I've been in situations in relationships where it feels like I can't express my emotions, or if I do express, like, you get to express all your emotions, and then when I get to express my emotions, it's like, it's either not received the same way, or it's not even just, it's not even just, recognized.
It's not acknowledged in a sense.
It's not acknowledged as the same severity. Like, just because I'm not crying and bawling my eyes out doesn't mean that I'm not hurting. Like I've had a discussion with somebody and they said, wow, you seem really sad. I'm like, I'm sad all the time. I literally talk about it in my music that you don't listen to. I literally have
an son, that you don't listen to?
Yeah, I said that.
Sheesh, yeah, like going in.
I have an entire guide of certain feelings, but you don't listen. It's literally on your phone.
Here's what I want to tell you. You need to change that environment, and you need to be around more women that are emotionally intelligent and will allow to receive and take you in as you are, because that's you being vulnerable.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I think that's one of the most important experiences as a human being. You have to have that moment in that space to feel confided in, to feel vulnerable, because that's what makes us human. I feel like you should be around that more. Don't be around like jerks like that.
It was a conversation. It's just about having somebody. But I think this video is definitely a perfect satirical example of our inability to focus on our emotions as men. Like, cause it's when does he have the time? My wife just died, but I gotta do this.
I don't know.
It's exaggeration. I think
it's exaggeration, but I feel like it's the truth, because I've been at a point in time. I think in the last episode I said, like, you asked a question, Mikhail, what's one thing you wouldn't change about yourself? And I did kind of change about myself, but then I started unlearning and bringing back to it is being in tune and in touch with my emotions. When I used to repress it all the time, and I'm like, why don't I allow myself to feel this? Why do I feel like I have to show and prove that just because I'm a man, I can't feel these emotions? But it's like, yeah, I hurt, I bleed, just like anyone else. And I feel like that, to me, is just extremely unhealthy. Like, that's very toxic, I feel like. And they wonder why, women live longer than men. Like, you could just go on about your day like your shorty just died.
Women live longer than men because they dating all the 1%ers.
They sharing all the 1%. Let me chill out.
I would say, a few things I've learned in this past being single dad was, one, to understand your emotions and deal with fear. Once you can deal with fear, you can find peace in everything. You won't find anything but peace in life. Once your fear of the unknown, your fear of this, your fear of that, if you can understand your fears and deal with your fears, whatever they are, your stress levels are already decreased. Okay, so that's what I definitely do. Face everything head on, fearless. That's one real big way I could say. And with that, helps me become my higher level of emotional intelligence. I have a high level of emotional intelligence because I just try to read people. We're all like that. We try to read people
of
outside.
course.
That is showing our emotional intelligence. Some people that want to be shut off to the world, they are just, it's chaos up here, you know? And there's a lot of work that has to get done to clear that up. I definitely agree with you, having a vulnerable space. I cried about the big guy here one time, you know, just about what he talked to us off scene and off camera in the chat, you know, about possibly a decade from now, what health-wise could be happening. And when you don't have a partner to support you when you're going through that kind of stuff, it's an awakening. You can't, the fear of it is leaving that partner. But you know if you leave that partner, you'll be able to grieve one day with the right bereavement. You'll be able to grieve the way you need to. You'll be able to love the way you need to. And that's what you want. You want to be able to have a safe, secure space to be you and to be loved as who you are.
As you are.
And as you are. I think we're now going into a society where people aren't accepting their primal quirkiness. You know, the primal, like, we come in here as souls, as kids. Everybody's got their, like, childlike, you know, quirkiness about them, things they like and whatever, and things that make them them. You gotta embrace that stuff. Appreciate people for respect people for their differences and appreciate them for their likenesses.
What about you, Makai?
Gotta do that.
You know, when I watched this and I said, you know what, and even though this is a joke, this is so real on so many levels. Yeah. Because men are at a point in time in our lives, we had to do something where you say, all right, on to the next, no matter how your heart is broken, no matter how you want to shed tears, no matter, and I felt it.
You specifically.
Yeah, I really felt this video, and I was like, there's times where I don't want to do certain things because I just don't have it in me because maybe I'm reminiscing on my mom's passing. This is going on in my life, but the show goes on. And in this, it shows how much he probably, if this was a real situation, probably was hurting inside. But you find out a couple hours, maybe an hour or whatever the case may be, and hey, you're about to go live. What are you going to do? You can't say, give me a minute. Your job, if you're the house, what is this? The House press secretary. If you have an important job, right? What if it's the president? The president's not going to say, you know what?
What if you're a single parent?
I got to take some time.
We had to do that.
What you said?
Single parent.
What if you're a single parent?
You really pick up the pieces.
You have to pick it up quicker.
You have to pick them up than anything. You can't.
You don't have time to cry.
I told the kid's mom when we broke up, I need you to be the best mother you can be for these kids right now. I need you to be that woman. I was bawling my eyes out for weeks. Like, she was too. But it's like, yo, stop thinking about a relationship and start thinking about the individual and how you need to elevate and how you need to set a standard for these children. That is what's important right now. If we're doing that, we may meet again. We don't know, but you have to do it just like I have to do it. I'm holding myself accountable like you're holding me accountable. These kids are basically, they're holding us accountable first.
But the good thing about, for you though, you have the emotional intelligence to do that. But sometimes there's situations where you cannot cry at that moment. Like, people might say and look at him as cold-hearted,
right?
But he's not as cold because he just hasn't had time to fully process, or even if you're processing it, you have to put that aside for the greater good of a job. Or
don't dive into your work. Do not dive into your work. Please don't do that.
People do that all the time.
That's a high stress level. Your work is already high stress. You're dealing at a high blood pressure, high stress level. Clear it all, being released through your adrenaline glands. You cannot be going into a high. It's going to age you. It's going to kill you from the inside of your gut all the way out. You're going to shut down.
It's easier said than done. I use the example as a parent, because, especially a single parent, because that one is a bit more close to home, and I know from personal experience where it's like you have all these responsibilities, but your kids don't want to hear, oh, give me 10 minutes to pick myself up. I'm sad. If they're crying, if whatever, that's just you. You got to deal with that. You don't have that luxury. And speaking specifically for men, because I want to focus specifically on men, because that's what we're talking about. It be like that,
I mean, I can understand where you're coming from when you say it's easier said than done, but if efficient made it, aware to us, I think we should take that into consideration.
No,
I agree. I think so. Because what you just said, like with the stress levels and everything like that, it doesn't even have to be necessarily crying. It's probably just taking a moment to just process and really feel what you just went through.
But sometimes you don't have the opportunity to.
You don't have the
time.
opportunity or the time. And this is where I saw on The View, they had a guest on there. I forget who her name was. She's great. I think it was Angela Bassett. And she said, come up with a routine for when you have those bad days and that bad time. Make a list of great things that help you get out of your funk and always keep that available. For whenever a funk hits, you have something on that list.
To balance you.
To grab and go to. Make sure you have whatever it is, the fun money for the routine, emergency routine, funk up fund, whatever you need to call it.
So how could you, so this is me asking you a question now. When certain dramas or certain tragic moments happen, where it's not just an easy, you have time to process it, how would you deal with it? Because a funk of fun sounds good and all.
Until you get punched in the face.
Until it happens right in the moment.
Everybody's got
like,
something
God
Mike
forbid,
Tyson.
Listen,
God
man, it's all-
forbid, I could use this situation because it already happened. God forbid you hear your grandmother died yesterday. Or your grandmother died right now while we're on the podcast.
All right, I got something for y'all.
So what's the funk up fun?
The comforting part of this, of passing, is to celebrate the life that they had, obviously, you know?
Dope. But is that what you're doing?
That is the one thing I can do, though. No, my mom told me this, and she told me this right now because she's alive, and I have to deal with her when she goes already. Dance like David danced. In the Bible, right? You remember David dancing?
I got you.
What's the story of David with the dancing?
No, I got you good. Tell your story and then I'll tell you.
I don't know the story of David dancing, but what she's telling me basically is to be comfortable in the fact that she has gone on to a lovely place to be loved, whether she could ever get the love here. The love and care that she could get here, we can give her as much in the physical as we possibly could.
But what about the grieving? Like,
the grieving,
dealing in that moment, like
the grieving is to, in the moment. The
moment.
grieving is to still stay in the moment. Carpe diem, seize the day. Know that I have a chance, an opportunity right now to be great. I have a choice too. What am I going to do with my time? What am I going to do with the next before the sundown? And when the sun comes up, what am I going to do with it? Am I going to remember that?
Easier said than done.
3,000.
Yeah.
Easier said than
It is easier. It is it is a lot easier said than done. But I know a lot of people, honestly, that are struggling right there in the gym, one step away from breaking down every day.
Tell that to the 1/4 black men that are incarcerated between the ages of 20 and 29.
Dude, it's hard making a bad choice and knowing that you're gonna be in jail for this bad choice. Not even it's a bad choice. You got caught. Somebody snitched. Somebody said something stupid. It wasn't even that. You were trying to earn for your family and somebody did something dumb to get you there. It wasn't you doing something wrong. You were really trying to do what you felt was right. I don't think any criminal is really a criminal. I think it's just we were misguided. It's one step away from making a bad decision.
You taking a page out of Batman's book from Batman's beginning.
It is from Batman.
Talking about Batman.
Dog, I'm telling you, dog.
Listen. He may disagree with me.
He like, stop the cap.
When Bruce Wayne went to become Batman, he went personally himself into prison to study criminals. That was his first right of what he did, so he could understand the psychology of where they came from.
The first
and he
thing
found
I
out
did-
that most of them weren't actually bad.
Okay, so the first thing I did when I became a single dad, looked up my zodiacs, looked up who I was as a person, looked back at my life, go talk to my parents, go talk to family members, understand my childhood, just trying to understand what their ancestry was like, to understand what is my development looking like in my mid-30s, going into my mid-40s. What was it like? What are you guys feeling like? It's just, I guess, going into your own DNA and asking. And if you have no family around to ask that question, obviously, I mean...
No, finish. I want to finish.
No, finish that.
No,
That was a good thought.
you can really go and talk and find, through BetterHelp, a good therapist. Like, I tell you, my therapist gave me hella techniques, to do, even breathing techniques like that, just to deal with my children when they're having conflict. Okay, my children have a conflict. I am sure that you two can work this out and talk this out. Why? Because I, as the leader, have educated them on how healthy conflict resolution should look. And if you're not in that situation, look it up. I mean, we have the internet in our hands.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but can we bring it back
bro.
around to the fact of the grieving?
The grieving, how to deal with grieving, research. There's coping skills.
Research.
Okay,
You're
well,
grieving.
listen.
This is good before.
Okay, which coping skill do you want?
No.
Find a healthy platform. Go work out. Go
I
for
feel
work.
like we- I feel like we- I feel like
That's
we're
what
off
I'm.
the tracks.
Now
You
you're
want the
talking
coping
about.
skill list?
All right.
I mean, I could give you.
No, because go ahead, bro. You wanted to.
He
say
was
something.
saying that, but I want to go back to what Wise guy said. He used the Mike Tyson quote. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. But at the same time, if you're training yourself to get punched in the mouth,
Exactly.
it becomes second nature. So
Why do you think we
like,
take
and that's what
jujitsu?
I went through as a boxer. You have to be getting used to getting hit. All right, I got hit. Now how do I adjust and move forward from here?
Okay,
That I just got hurt.
Can I tell a story?
Go ahead, tell that story.
All right.
Tell that story, baby.
Some wild folks.
I remember when my grandmother was sick, I was there every step of the way. I was there to see the last breath, right? The very last breath. She died with me holding her there, right? I had my cousins. I had my mom before she passed was there, right? Everyone is crying and stuff, and I'm the one staying strong. I'm the one planning the funeral. I'm the one putting up the money. I'm the one doing all these things. Why I can relate to this guy? It's all easy. You feel like you're a robot. You get the job done, and then maybe when you came off the stage, if this was real, you probably would have broke down. Now, Wise, I was good the whole time, right? Until we went to the cemetery.
I remember.
After I saw everything transpire, I broke down and cried. But I was strong the whole time, didn't shed one tear.
Why?
Why? Because I had to be on my defense like this guy right here.
You couldn't cry in front of people?
It's not
as easy.
I cry in front of my children all the time because I need to show them that tears come from a man.
But that's healthy, though. That's good. And I'm saying that's great.
I'm with efficient all the way on
That
this.
is healthy, but not all the time.
You'll catch me crying in the gym. You'll catch me crying anywhere. I'm going to cry, and I'll admit that to the camera. I cry anywhere. You better let it out.
We need more of that. We need more of that. But when you're going through your thing and you don't always have those coping mechanisms available, especially as a black person in this society.
Right?
No, they always tell you, no,
because it's the truth.
They always tell you, oh, you got to be strong. Yeah. Wise was there the whole time. How many people go, oh, you got to be strong.
Stop saying that
you
to
got
him.
to be
Don't say that.
strong.
Don't tell
You
that to
got to
him.
be
That's a
strong.
horrible thing to say.
And after a while, the strength just breaks. But it's just, I'm not saying it's right. What you're saying is
I cried on you when my grandma passed. You was right there at the funeral.
What you're saying is right. But how a lot of men act like this and have to do with it because the show goes on. Is it right? No, but this is what the world sometimes conditioned us.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I was here with Wise talking to him on the phone for hours about his father. Was he however he processed the situation.
Yeah, it still happens.
Right?
Yeah.
He still, whether it's anger or things that sometimes we don't get a chance to fully address because the person's not here no more. We can't deal with it, but the show has to move on. You can't hold it too much. And that's what the sucky part is. I wish men could share like how we share it. It's just by chance that we got a good circle.
Well,
I could talk to you.
You
I
know
could talk
me.
to you.
You can
yeah,
share
we
with
share.
I just cried to him on Thursday. What are you talking about?
But at the moment when things is happening and transpiring,
Yeah, it doesn't-
you can't always process it.
Yeah,
You don't get to choose when you break down, unfortunately.
No, you don't. You don't get to choose when you break down, and you don't have to hold on to that cup with all that pain either. You got to put your arm down, or it's going to break you. It is going to break you. Let go of the cup, let it out, yell, wail, scream, whatever you got to do to get out your system. Break something, flip something, lift something, push something, pull something.
I would just want to still recognize.
Catharsis.
There's a lot of catharsis. Like, I would still want to just recognize that we, as men, we do have that brainwashing.
Hey, we're here for you though, bro.
Oh, listen, man, I ain't going nowhere.
We're here for you.
But it's like you still have this, when you're conditioned to do something for so long and you don't feel comfortable letting go, like, what I want, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, he's right. You're not comfortable letting go. Talk about it.
Like, to piggyback off what you said earlier about, not feeling comfortable with certain people. Like, I'll tell you right now, like, at least 85% of my friends, I don't feel comfortable talking about my personal life with or breaking down in front of them.
You gotta change your friends then.
Yeah, you're right. But, life is funny like that. But that's another discussion. Being vulnerable is a hard thing, especially when people either don't understand or, like, either they don't care or they don't understand.
Talk about it.
Like,
I think the biggest one is they don't try to understand.
I don't think they trust either.
I'm worse. I don't think they care. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, one of the quotes, it's a horrible quote, but listen, I'm a nihilist. I just like to be matter of fact about things. People don't care as much as they think they do. Like, you got plenty of friends like, oh, I'll be there for you, I'll help you out, I'll this and that for you. People don't care as much as they think they do. Everybody likes to think that they're a good person. Nobody wants to feel like they're a bad person. Nobody wants to admit that they're a bad person. because that would also mean that I have to admit the fact that, no, I don't care. Yeah, you're my closest friend, but I don't care about your struggle. Nobody wants to admit that to themselves. But people are like that.
And since you're a nihilist, I have a good movie recommendation. It's called Mad God.
Mad God?
It's extremely nihilistic. You'll love it. It's very dark.
You know?
So
And cynical too, but yeah, go ahead.
So just to piggyback on what you're saying, I want to ask you a question now, all right? What should we do as men now so that this, what Efficient is talking about, is normalized?
I think personally, this
Understand what I'm saying?
this is just me personally using myself as an example, and we've talked about this before. I think men as a whole need to have either group discussions with other men or be able to talk about these things with other men. There's definitely a lack of emotional intelligence amongst men when they're separate, but for some reason when we come together, there seems to be like, I could, you ever feel like that? Yeah, I feel like that too. And then the walls start to come down a little bit. We also need to
Agree.
check our anger and our ego at the door.
Yes. Big one.
Because there is a lot of issues when it comes to you. Like, if I'm expressing my emotions, there's no need for you to try to alpha male me or something. Because I'm trying. You should give somebody the same grace in their emotional vulnerability that you would want.
I just really honestly think like it's the bravado and the machismo is it's just all a front, really. Like allow that to. I just feel like because people have been hurt so much, they just, especially as guys, we just love to put up that brick wall. But I feel and I find that in being vulnerable, there's so much strength. Of course, granted, with the right people, of course, you don't want people using shit like that for ammunition against you and stuff, but you want to be around people you trust and you love, you can see as family, that you can let the walls on and be like, hey, and then you might realize we're not all so different. We have a lot in common of, how we feel and process things and how we may interpret things. And I feel like that helps us get a deeper and better understanding of ourselves. We can let down all of these facades and see who we are truly authentic in the mirror.
Can I ask you?
Go ahead.
Why do you feel like we can't let down? Why do you feel like we have this facade and we can't share with each other?
I think everyone has their ego inflated, and they want to take the air out of the room, and then be humble afterwards. But we need to be able to take the air out of the room with humility.
And I do agree with Efficient. I think it's not ego in the sense like, I think I'm better. It's more of because the ego's job is to what? It's to protect the self.
Yep.
That's really the job of the ego. While the ego is, you don't want to be too much into it, there's a fine balance with it.
Yeah.
But it's always protection of self.
Talk about it.
Ever since you're a child, you went through, you burnt your hand or some kind of crazy trauma happened to you, your body instinctively learns these triggers and it learns how to defend itself. And that's years of conditioning of doing your own thing,
And that's the problem, the years of conditioning.
Yeah, it's hard. It's layers.
From a youngster, you're told not to cry. We talked about this. From a youngster, you're
Hardwired.
told to man up. You're told to be a man at a young age. You never tell girls to be a woman. But you always tell men to not be a man, grow up, stuff. So after a while, you become cold-hearted and stuff, and you learn to deal with situations like this, and that's why men's a lot. Which I wish I looked up this number, but I have it ready next time, just to talk about it maybe in the beginning of the episode. How much men have nervous breakdowns?
Oh, I've had one.
Right?
That is not fun.
How much men
I've had panic attacks.
high suicide rates because they can't talk to nobody about the shit they going on. Like Capital Steez was about to make it, bro.
We was talking about the other day.
He was about to
Literally.
just before he died.
Yep.
Couple days after they got
a deal,
a pro error deal. But you were around somebody your whole life and they can't share. You thinking they're sharing your house, like, but you don't know what's really going on until next thing you know, we're at a funeral. I no disrespect to him, I was only using it as an example.
Yeah.
Because we all go through those things. So that man right there, I know it's not healthy, but I can relate. And I bet you a lot of men can relate to that as well. So, DeJounte, what do you think, on top of what he says, that we can do to really change the perspective of things for men, at least, in a sense of,
I think just allowing ourselves, I don't really have much to say, but I think just really allowing ourselves to be in tune and in the moment and not to repress. We're feeling something, feel it, go through it. All right, if you can't express it that kind of way at some point in time, allow yourself the space to express it. Because like what he said, you don't want to hold on to that forever. That's going to just it's going to clutter up everything. It's going to cause problems. It's going to cause complications. And it just hardens you even more. So I feel like expressing that, being in that moment and having a safe space to do that too as well. I think the more we can do that, I think the more real and genuine we are to ourselves, I feel like. And we owe ourselves that.
Get active, guys. Get active, get social, get into those places for sure.
Exercise.
Exercise, that will help you.
Don't sit driving.
Take drugs. I'm not serious.
Hail Hydra.